This is just the best part of my day.
Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
My grandma and your grandma were sitting by the fire. My grandma told your grandma, I'm gonna set your flag on fire. Talking about hey now,
Hey now,
hey now,
hey now.
I go one day.
Oh,
Jacques Finade, Jacques Finade. Look at my king all dressed in red. I go one day. I bet you $5 he'll kill you dead. Jacques Finade. Talking about hey now,
hey now,
hey now,
hey now.
I go one day.
Is this something you want recorded in perpetuity?
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's like a
You said futanari porn? Pulling up the Pornhub browser version.
Yeah, I am 18 or older.
I love that you can just say, and they're like, we won't check.
Like, we believe
Yeah,
it.
take your word for it.
Futan.
Except for the states where you have to, provide your, driver's license to you. I know Utah is like that.
So futanari porn is basically trans women porn, but straight guys have had to rationalize it as it's not gay. It's just women.
Futanari.
It's just women who suddenly have dicks and they don't know what to do with them.
Oh, I see. It's a magical. It's kind of anime-esque.
Yeah. It is an anime feature that they have then turned into its own live action.
Wow, that's beautiful in its own way.
Yeah. Police officer break into alien futa house.
Seeing some very fun
sex
autoplays on your open Pornhub browser. But you're not. I assume you're not logged in, so it's not like I can see what you're into. This is just
correct.
What
and I
this is
actually
just what the algo is up to.
I don't have a login. I just open incognito and close it every time.
Incognito.
Yeah, which is why every time I open Pornhub, the first.
That's what when I am penetrated by a wiener, I say incognito. Neato. Incognito. Hey, do you know where sperm comes from? Incognito. Yeah.
But I also
good.
I like to think of my hole as a cog. I do think keeping it as cog also makes sense.
Incog.
Yeah.
Wow, like clockwork.
Yeah.
You're running a Switch watch down there.
Yeah, I have an efficient Swiss watch.
You have a beautiful timepiece.
As genitals. That's
when
why
I'm getting naked in front of someone for the first time, I say, would you like to see my beautiful timepiece?
That's why Republicans are trying to legislate around trans genitalia. We're too efficient.
Too efficient. Yes, exactly. It works. They know that they would be outpaced, if they allowed you your cock to function normally.
I'll do it closer because you have a louder.
Nice.
Do
it closer. What is this? A 2004 Julia Roberts film?
Light is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off. Tastes like you, but sweeter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm doing a guest round. This is not a joke, even though I'm saying it in my traditionally jokey way. I'm doing a guest round at the movie trivia that I'm a regular at. A clip round of Julia Roberts films to coincide with the release of After the Hunt. And of course, one of the featured clips is going to be... I'm not hosting the whole thing. I'm not doing all 4 rounds.
Okay.
I'm doing 1 round.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, to promote our show.
Wow, when is that?
Around the release of After the Hunt. My phone is across the room. But yeah, if you open up your calendar, I could show you.
Okay.
For a date that you won't be in town for. But depending on when this episode is released.
I just want to see if the metrics change.
Absolutely. So the 23rd. The 23rd of October. Is when I will be doing, I don't know, British people love October.
Yeah.
Is when I will be doing a guest round at Triviarama at Syndicated in beautiful Brooklyn, New York.
Great place. And you're I'll
be doing 10 rounds of Julia Roberts clips, or 10 questions of Julia Roberts clips. And one of them, spoilers, is Tastes Like You But Sweeter from the movie Closer.
So this is sort of if you're a listener, you kind of have an edge.
You have one of the questions, I've given it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
But you also have an edge of knowing that it's going to be Julia Roberts.
Right, and almost all the clips that I've thought of selecting are from movies we've covered on the show already.
So you're saying if you listen to this and then
you are a ringer.
Yeah.
So Emily, go to this round of trivia. You could win a $50 syndicated gift card.
I love that Emily High is a fan, but I also love that Emily is often like months and months late. Like,
Yeah.
because she like saves it for like whatever special occasion, and so she's
Of course. Birthday, anniversary.
She's probably still in 2024 somewhere.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So, but so much to get caught up on.
Yeah.
You know, on our wonderful, wonderful show.
Which luckily we keep putting out content. She does want to come on for conspiracy theory, I could think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know she watched that recently. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds good. You know, we're doing our conspiracy season, so
Yeah.
it would be apropos to cover conspiracy theory starring Mel Gibson during that period of time.
Yeah. And actually, After the Hunt did kind of nail the conspira theme.
It fit in our conspiracy season. And,
Yeah.
and thank you, Luca, for playing, you know, along the lines of what we were hoping to cover on the third season of Run the Julias.
Yeah, he really threw that together.
Absolutely.
To the degree that he forgot-
quickly, yeah.
To the degree that he, forgot to cut the movie.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But this was, of course, Run the Julias, the only podcast brave enough to cover every single cinematic work of America's sweetheart Julia Roberts, coming to you live
We're together.
from the Hilton Hotel.
We're together. That's why our combo is so snippy. So it's so
We're on fire because we are
rapport.
literally inches from each other.
Yeah, there's no lag in between. We don't have to pretend. Like
I don't
there's
have
no
to edit
Zoom
out the
lag.
pauses.
Yeah, we're just-
everything's staying in.
Yeah, the overlapping, the way that we're familiar. It's like in a play when you're like, oh, the characters really know each other. They're not afraid
Yeah,
to
they
overlap.
actually started talking a little bit before the other person stopped talking.
Exactly,
Not in
yeah.
an interrupty
Yeah,
sort
they
of way,
not-
but just that is how fast
more
we are
in like they
going.
know each other so well that they sort of not even finish each other's sentences, but more just sort of like overlap and that kind of
thing.
way.
Yeah. Amazing. Yes, but we emergency episode. There is a new, for the first time in 2 years, there is a new Julia Roberts movie.
Yeah, and TV's Kevin Lanigan was generous and quick enough to snag some tickets
That's
to
right.
this release.
We saw it a full month early. We're recording this in late ass September when this movie does not come out for several more weeks. It opened at the Venice Film Festival I think about a month ago.
How long was the standing O, do you think?
Cannes is the one where they do like
That's
the 16-minute
right.
standing ovation.
That's
like
right.
every single movie.
That's what I was thinking
They
of.
do, and I've never been to the Cannes Film Festival personally.
No, yeah.
I have. That just sounds like a nightmare.
No, I don't think, unless I have something coming through there, which currently looking at my docket, it doesn't look like I have anything coming through.
Not
Cannes.
only media docket.
Not immediately.
Long view, of
so,
course.
So I don't have to worry about that right away, but it is not something that interests me.
Yeah, the 16-minute standing ovation, and the movies that they've given it for. Actually, this is so important that I need to look it up.
We're looking up
that,
a thing.
the movies that they have chosen to give excessive standing ovations to are just simply not the list of movies that you would expect them to do.
Like Wall-E.
No, Wall-E, I think you can give
Like Wallace and Gromit.
yeah.
Like Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like
Hold on. I
Like
pulled up a
W.
list and I'm working on it.
about George W. Bush.
Absolutely. So here are the 25 longest Cannes standing ovations of all time. Okay. Furiosa, 6 minutes.
Wow.
Furiosa, quality film. Megalopolis, 7 minutes.
Okay.
Bird, 7 minutes. The Apprentice, the movie where Sebastian Stan plays Donald Trump, 8 minutes.
Okay. Unfortunately, these are so recent that it sounds like this is more a trend, and maybe we should stop it now.
Yeah, I think we need to kill it dead. Killers of the Flower Moon, 9 minutes. Hey, good movie. The Substance, 9 minutes.
No, guys.
Horizon and American Saga Chapter 1,
No.
10 minutes. Carol, 10 minutes. Hey, should have been longer, frankly.
I hooked up with someone at Horizon who was in Horizon.
That's amazing. The Beaver, directed by Jodie Foster, starring Mel Gibson, 10 minutes. Black Klansman, 10 minutes. Captain Fantastic, starring Viggo Mortensen, 10 minutes. Emilia Perez, 11 minutes.
Oh my god! And you really just like looked over at me. because
Inglourious
I'm
Bastards,
transgender.
11 minutes.
Uh-huh.
The Artist, 12 minutes. Elvis, 12 minutes. Bowling for Columbine, 13 minutes.
This is already going on too long.
Belle, it's going on 14 minutes, just like the standing ovation for the animated movie Belle. The Seed of the Sacred Fig, 14 minutes. Capernaum, a movie I've never heard of in my life, 15 minutes.
Maybe we can scroll to that.
Once
end.
Upon a Time in America, 15 minutes.
Because I already...
Well, also, I'm trying to look at a film website with ads on my phone browser, so it is actually impossible to scroll. Paperboy, the movie where Nicole Kidman pisses on Zac Efron, 15 minutes.
I haven't heard or seen that.
Okay. Neon Demon, 17 minutes. I'm gonna, Pan's Labyrinth, the all-time #1 applause standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. Guess how long? And if you are within 2 minutes, I will give you money from my wallet.
I thought it was 17 minutes was the longest.
No,
20,
Pan's
23
Labyrinth
minutes?
was 22 minutes.
22 minutes.
A standing ovation that is as long as an episode of The Office. Imagine you're standing there at the Cannes Film Festival. You could have watched Dwight and Stanley and Angela and all their antics, and instead you applauded Pan's Labyrinth nonstop for 22 minutes.
You could have had Stanley, but instead you standed grandly.
Stan Lee, but you could have had Stan O.
Yeah.
Well, you did have Stan O. You could have had Stan Lee. I said it bad and backwards.
And that's not the O that we want.
No.
We don't want
to
the
my
standing
knowledge,
O.
After the Hunt did not play the Cannes Film Festival. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have gotten a 45-minute standing ovation.
So we did kind of just waste everyone's time just then, much like
it was important.
much like the Cannes Film Festival wastes
Time. Many people's time. I would simply leave.
What do you do with your hands, do you think? Like, what do you do with
Clap.
your face and your hands during that?
But if I'm being applauded,
Both.
if I'm being applauded, I'm going to, like, sit back down at a certain point.
Yeah.
As a clue of, like, please stop doing this. Or I'm going to run up to the front of the theater and, like, really egg them on like a warm-up comedian.
Do you think you would... Oh, I love those. Chris Grace was our warm-up comedian on Crowd Control, coming out soon.
Hell yeah.
That I'm...
Jessi Kat in the trailer for Crowd Control on Dropout TV.
On Dropout TV. I am lightly, if not generously, featured.
Did you have Final Cut on the edit?
I did it, but I'm friends with the script supervisor.
Oh,
so,
okay,
yeah, but I didn't like do any finessing or anything. That was just circumstantial. We went to a crazy wedding together recently.
That's fun.
But
yes, you and I, along with past and future guest Emily and my girlfriend Kelly,
who I finally got to meet.
We went to the Angelica on Houston Street. Ever
heard of it? Not Angelica Houston. Nice try.
Nice try, bitch. We went to Angelica Houston, and in a packed theater. Saw these kind of like one-night screenings of this movie that they were doing tonight. You know, they did it at AMC Lincoln Square, which was full by the time I found out about it. They did it at Alamo Drafthouse Brooklyn, which just sounded a little annoying to get to.
Yeah.
And they did it at the Angelica Houston Street. And I got in pretty early at Houston, and it was damn near a full house by the time that happened. And, also, you know, the weekend one battle after another comes out. The name on everybody's lips is After the Hunt.
And I'll start from the end and work back to the beginning. So if you want to edit this in any way so that there's the no spoilers thing, I guess spoilers up top more. Or just to frame that, not even related to the movie, but the exit of the movie was just this long clown car. Like, the theater did not look very big at all. And it was just this long procession clown car of never ending. People exiting as if you were on a plane where everyone just got in the center aisle and... Instead of not moving at all, it just kept moving, but it never stopped.
It did not seem like there could be as many people in front of us as were walking past us out of the theater.
Yeah. It was like, it was packed in a way that you didn't notice, but then people never stopped leaving.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we had time to, you know, fully digest this piece of cinematic work.
And then we didn't talk, we just kind of talked around it, but didn't talk about it because we were going to record, but... I almost wish I had processed a little bit of it aloud before recording myself, just because the themes are crazy.
The themes are crazy. It's a very dense film. So we're going to enter into a non-spoiler discussion of the film.
Okay, I'll take your lead, because I'm bad at that.
Yeah, that's okay. So we're going to do a non-spoiler discussion now, and we will let that I'm going to clip out and isolate. And then, of course, this is a new movie, so at a certain point, we are going to get into spoiler territory, and of course, we are going to, we're going to let everybody know, in case they're coming to us for, you know, they're licking their finger, they're putting it to the wind. What is the barometer on After the Hunt?
Yeah.
The first new Julia Roberts movie in 2 years. Julia Roberts is at a point in her life and career where, like, if she's in a movie, at least to us, it's like a major event. Yeah. She doesn't do them all the time. No. She is not a Nicole Kidman who just, like, will not stop working.
And in our experience of recent, I would say since, like, maybe Normal Heart onward, and even Normal Heart, it seems like she's mostly been doing stuff, like, with her, like, husband or friends, like, it hasn't been...
it's like Ryan Murphy, and the most recent movie she did was with Sam Esmail, who worked on all of her television miniseries work. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it seems like she's at a point where she's like, I will...
Wait, what? Mother's Day.
She's Gary Marshall, one of her good friends. I mean, of course, Gary Marshall, you know, partially responsible for her entire film career.
Totally.
Casting her in Pretty Woman.
And Mother's Day with that amazing bob.
Absolutely. And
Which
Mother's
was
Day. And
reused.
And Valentine's Day.
That bob was reused from Notting Hill.
Yes, that is our conspiracy theory speaking.
No, it's true. She verified it.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
That's so fun.
She said she was like, I just pulled this wig
That
off
was
from...
the Helix bob. That's super fun.
That's
funny. I didn't know if we talked about that, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're in a non-spoilery discussion here. And let me, you know, as a bit of context, you know, this movie was getting early reactions several weeks ago when it played Venice. Every review I've seen of this movie has been, like, mixed to negative.
Really?
Has been, like, 3 stars and below, a lot of 2 stars from my Letterboxd follows. Which were, and so I was going in worrying that, like, we had a real turd on our hands. Which seems strange given, like, you know... It's this movie is essentially like 5 really good actors. It's Luca Guadagnino, who, like, is not my favorite director in the world, but usually is at least like you were going for something interesting here. So I kind of went in with, like, those expectations of, like, guard yourself, but almost immediately I was, like, really taken by the movie, and I was very intrigued throughout. It never lost my attention. It runs, like, a little bit over 2 hours, and I was really locked in, really excellent performances. It shot well, and there's, like, so much thorny, weird, interesting shit going on in this movie that, like, I'm going to have to keep untangling in my mind.
No, yeah, and as it was happening, I kept catching myself being like, oh, wow, I made a passing thought. Like, I was even, like, questioning my own way of thinking about each thing as each sort of, like, story beat happened. Like, it felt like each, like, little reveal or something, like, I was like, oh, I was really, like, judging this character for this, and, like, this is actually completely different. And I do think... And this is early for me to say it, but I do think I enjoyed this more than Challengers.
Whoa!
Which is crazy.
Challengers, a film when I left the theater for Challengers, I was flying. You know, I was just, like, walking on air.
Yeah, people loved Challengers.
Yeah, but this is your Challenger.
I don't love it the way that, like, people love Challengers, but I think I wasn't hit by Challengers the same way that the Zeitgeist was, and I went into it thinking it was going to be way gayer than it was. And it felt like it was giving me little crumbs. And then kind of the way that it was being, like, rallied back and forth didn't hit the same way for me. I didn't feel like it served the way I wanted it to be.
Keep going.
And I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought that it had some good doubles, some couples, but I think you know, as a single play, it wasn't quite my thing, but I didn't hate it. I loved the soundtrack, and so when I saw the composer for this in the opening credits,
who was the composer?
Trent Reznor, same one.
Oh, same one.
Isn't
I
that
did not
crazy?
know that. That is wild.
Yeah. So I was like, what is gonna happen? And then when it just came in hot with the classical music, I was like, very different, very tone shift.
100%.
Yeah. So that was crazy. I don't know. Hopefully, whoever listens to this podcast, I hope somebody relates to that I liked this more than Challengers. Not saying one is better than the other in any way.
But you personally responded to this.
I definitely did. It might just be because I personally, without too many spoilers, both in my lore and in the movie, have gone through 2 Title IX cases in 2 different colleges.
Yeah,
I think, like, I would have related more to the themes in this.
100%.
So, I thought that I would be like, like a little too, like, oh my god, I'm so triggered. Lack of a better phrase. But I instead felt very, like a participant, and I had a sense of humor throughout it that I don't think it meant to be funny, but it had sort of like a...
No, I think it definitely meant to be funny.
But
this is a darkly funny movie.
It was sort of May December in that way.
Yes, absolutely. A movie I adore.
Yeah.
That's a good, interesting, like, tonal match for that.
Yeah.
That, like, this movie is very funny. It's very satirical about, like, the upper echelons of academia. This movie takes place at Yale and behind the scenes and in the classrooms at Yale University.
I'm
Ever
surprised.
heard of it?
Yeah, I'm surprised I've heard of it because I would have been 7th generation at Yale.
Whoa.
Had I gotten in. But I was too afraid to be rejected, so I applied to Yale Singapore, and I was rejected from Yale Singapore because I was more what's Ayo Edibiri's character's name in this?
I want to say Maggie.
Yeah, I was like her. I would have been, not that I have billionaire parents, but I was sort of like that. I would have been that sort of Yale legacy type, and I was too afraid of, not being able to cut it. And they also didn't have a actual acting major. They have a really revered drama program, but it's not actually a major. It's more of an extracurricular that they're known for. So like Meryl Streep and Paul Giamatti and stuff, it wasn't their major, but somehow they were like actors. So very, very weird. The structure is very weird, and I was surprised that they were able to sort of like poke fun. I was impressed that Yale signed off because it was shot at Yale too, or at least a lot of the exteriors were actually the campus.
Yeah, it's wild.
And like very recognizable buildings. So I'm kind of surprised, maybe because of the name and everything, that they were able to sort of like poke fun so much at Yale.
Yeah, that was on the table, and like there's something about the Dean character.
He was so good.
He was super good, but he almost gave me the impression that like he was an academic and not, you know what I mean?
No.
The performer's name is David Lieber.
The one who was saying like I got stuck in this admin role.
Yeah.
Because I think he's saying, well, actually that's interesting, but that's for a later spoiler.
Oh, I'm sorry. He is Luca Guadagnino's art dealer.
Wait, what?
He is not a professional actor. He is Luca Guadagnino's art dealer. There was the dean who like has the fancy whiskey out, but gets out the shitty whiskey when he's so like having people over. I actually hate the fancy whiskey. I like the bad stuff, but I'm stuck in this role of optics. He was giving me like the kind of performance, the way he didn't seem like incredibly comfortable with dialogue on camera, that I was like, is he the actual dean of philosophy at Yale? But no, he was an art dealer.
Wow. Yeah, that now I have a thought for later because it's a spoiler, but I just kind of put 2 and 2 together in terms of like that dean role.
Amazing. Couch that. Put a pin up in that.
Yeah.
But
he was great though. His the writing was really funny. Like
there's some
incisive. Really good, really funny.
Some great back and forth.
Yeah.
Especially from like Michael Stuhlbarg's character, who was so fun, was killing us the whole movie.
And the way that I hated things about Promising Young Woman, I really liked what they did with Bo Burnham's character, making him so likable, but like with that satirical twist. And I feel like they did a great job with Andrew Garfield with it. Like,
100%.
I mean, he was like so, like we could laugh at him and be like, oh, he's so insufferable, but he was so charismatic that it was like you wanted to keep watching instead of being like having such an ick that like you're turned off the rest of the movie.
Yeah, you wanted, he's like I think the casting of Andrew Garfield in that role is really clever because he is an actor that we are just like predisposed as an audience to like.
Yeah.
Like we're like, that's my friend, that's Eduardo Saverin or Spider-Man or whatever your association with Andrew
Social
Garfield
Network
is. With Tick Tick Boom, like
Tick Tick Boom,
what have you.
Jonathan Larson.
Yeah, he is an actor that we are predisposed to like, so when the scandal breaks when Ayo Edibiri brings sexual assault allegations against him, like, there's a part of you that goes, like, oh, man, I wanted to like this guy. Like, he seems like a nice guy. And maybe, it feels very intentional that, like, it could sow seeds of doubt in the audience's mind of, like, well, he didn't do it. Look at this. He's such a nice guy. He's so charismatic. He's so funny.
Yeah, early on, it could sow those. I see what you're saying, but now we won't.
Indian food scene, and then you're like, well,
yeah, but we won't go. We're almost getting.
We're still spoiler free, but this is like the premise of the movie. This is like stuff from the trailer, so I think we're still okay to talk about like what is the general plot.
And then I guess like the last thing I can think of before running out of not ways to spoil things is that you were talking about the press tour, and that's kind of what made this film or people started talking about it, was like the interesting like press tour moment, right?
Yes, there's a press tour moment. If you're on social media, you might have seen it, of like a junket interview at the Venice Film Festival. It's Julia, Andrew, and Ayo. I'm on a first name basis with them, and
me too.
The interviewer, who I think was like a French woman, goes like, this question is for Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. Now that BLM and Me Too are done, they are over. What do you say? And they're like, I'm sorry, what? And then Ayo Edibiri like butts in, of course, and is like, excuse me, over? Like, what are you talking? And why was I not included in the question? Great clip. Everyone go look it up. But it actually, it works to help kind of like underline a lot of the themes of the movie, that the movie is very, conscious of like, race and class and status, and that all adds to like the thorniness and complexity of the movie and like the social dynamics within. And if, we are going to like, there's just seeds sown throughout that complicate this story, that on its face, could go in many different varied directions, some of them not very fruitful. It could really easily fall on its face when you're like tackling like a subject matter like this. This is the third mainstream movie I have seen this year about sexual assault, or features heavily an element of sexual assault. Between this, Materialists, and Sorry Baby.
Oh yeah, Materialists.
It was in the zeitgeist of, like, I guess last year when they were making all these movies.
Yeah.
That, like, it is a subject that is really on people's minds at various different stratas of filmmaking and budget, and movies that, like, between Materialists and this, movies that, like, movie stars are willing to step into these roles and deal with this material.
Yeah, I guess it's been around as a subject for as long as I can remember, movies being made in every genre, but in this way where it's like talking about like sexual assault on an institutional level, like professionally or like academically. I think this is sort of a new era where like I think Promising Young Woman was early for that, and then I think like we saw sort of a lot of like mini-series TV shows sort of exploring these things, or like big like Netflix movies that didn't quite hit theaters but were big on the streamers. And then now I think like I feel like Caitlin Denver and Julia Green, what's her name? She's an Ozark.
Julia Garner.
Yeah, she has one.
Weapons herself?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because I still haven't seen Weapons, but I don't know. As someone who I myself has written about the subject matter since I went to film school originally, because I was like experiencing those things on a personal level, it's interesting to see it hit now, like hit the zeitgeist now. And I'm glad at least I'm far enough away from it being too activating for me to watch, that now I can like enjoy or like have my own discourse or criticisms about that subject matter without being like, it's too close to home. Because I think this movie, I don't know what other people don't like about it. Maybe I resonated too much, but I think they dealt with it in a really cool way.
Yeah, it's a really, I would encourage people to check this movie out, like, as long as like the subject matter won't, for lack of a better word, trigger you too much.
No, literally. And that's what's interesting about the movie is it feels like you have to give a disclaimer of like, so you don't feel triggered because like the word like we don't have another word for it. But the movie itself is like taking place in a philosophy setting where they are critiquing sort of this sensitive Gen Z genderqueer culture.
Yeah.
Like Julia Roberts' character takes all of these different turns where like you think she feels one way about the subject matter and then she's too cold and has to stay too like, and then she just sort of starts unraveling and then just becomes sort of this like monster monologue, which you can kind of expect from a Julia Roberts project, is like what's going to be the snap, and that was very good.
Yeah, that feels like maybe the Oscar clip.
Then are we like in spoiler land?
Let's wrap up this thought, but I feel like we're close. We've talked about it. I think it's really good. The performances are universally very excellent across the board. I would encourage people to go see it when it comes out, and it will come out at about the time that this episode drops. So folks, check it out. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of there's also there's a trans mask character, and I have a lot to say about that character.
Can't wait. Well, you'll have to go see the movie and stay tuned through the spoiler section. To hear all about that.
I don't know if they were like, that's too much of a spoiler, but there is a trans mask partner.
No, I don't think that's a spoiler at all.
That doesn't show up till later and is very much playing into a really funny archetype for me, and I was very excited to see that representation because I know a lot of people are sick of the tender queer in public discourse, think of them as too like out there, activisty, whatever, and I think it did a really good social commentary in a way that I think was a delicate line. I think this movie walked a delicate line many times. And I liked almost every choice.
That's fantastic. So, and if you want to hear more about those specific choices, you can join us in the spoiler section.
In 3, 2, 1... Spoilers!
Top surgery!
That's the big reveal.
There's a top surgery.
Julia Roberts gets top surgery.
That would be amazing.
And it's they now. And if you don't use they for them, they, them, Julia Roberts, you're a fucking bigot.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as non-binary partner shows up and they're like wearing a towel like across the midsection, I'm like, come on, I know what's under there. Come on. And there were top surgeries.
Yeah, which we already knew they used they them pronouns, but I guess for the the general viewer, like, that would probably be a cool moment.
I think so. I think it's still, like...
And they were subtle enough that, like, you also maybe wouldn't 100% clock it.
Could have missed it.
Yeah.
But I think it's still novel for me to see, like, top surgery scars in a mainstream movie.
In a mainstream movie, absolutely.
From, like, a major filmmaker with movie stars.
When it's not about trans stuff at all. I don't know if I've seen it. I don't know if I've seen it yet. Like... I might not be able to remember, but I can't think off the top of my head, especially a movie that has someone like Julia Roberts.
Yeah, at the center of it.
And Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. And
I could expect that in maybe Bottoms with Ayo Edibiri, but I don't remember it there.
No.
And so this kind of mainstream dramatic movie that isn't like trans trauma porn.
Yeah, it's not about queer issues.
It was fun. It's something that if you explained it out loud to any other movie, I would say I don't really want to see that, of like a they them kind of like playing. Everyone was kind of like the worst or the most complicated, like someone who you don't like that is that person's archetype. So
yes.
Like that professor, that like guy that flirts with undergrads, that like billionaire daughter, and that like they them
100%.
And like so they all kind of were these like,
who wants to be quote unquote, isn't there some obscure protest you want to be seen publicly like
and then they
enraged about, or
and
whatever?
Then they do that moment, then they have then it comes around and they have just like a gaggle of like leftists, like not a ton, just like 10
a dozen,
with
tender
like
queers.
posters like surrounding Julia Roberts.
We're not touching her.
Not
Let's give her
touching
space. Let's give her space.
Sweet, yeah, and like gets up in her face and it's like, oh my god, my favorite line when I fucking lost it was when they were like, you need to be accountable. You need to be accountable.
I
And it was like,
know.
and it was the they them like getting up in Julia's face, being like, you need to be accountable.
We're
and it was
asking
like,
for accountability.
yeah, so oh my god, and
It was-
recording it. It was so good.
Really,
It was so good. And also, like, when Ayo Edibiri kept being, like, when they were in this, like, intimate moment and she was clearly, like, processing her shit, I feel like they, like, dealt really well with that dynamic of, like, a white trans mask who has, like, a hot black girlfriend and is like, you should be doing this. And, like, she's not, and, like, that's toxic and kind of, like, feeding this, like, sort of like theory rhetoric when Ayo the whole time in the movie is just trying to be like, I'm literally a person.
This movie is all about like people throwing theory rhetoric instead of addressing the situation that is in front of them.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm a person, and then she kind of gets to a point where she's like, fine, I will play into the shit, you know, like I'll do the article, I'll do the whatever, like, but even like that intimate moment between her and her they them partner, I feel like it introduced this character that I think is the representation we need to see in a person that I've definitely been many times, which is like the toxic they that is like pushing like sort of this the queer theory and like all of the stuff that they've read in books, but like not seeing the big picture, not seeing the person in front of them because that person is like, it's like, oh, you're perfectly set up to be these different layers of discourse that I'm not actually going to look at your situation as you as a person at all because it's really convenient that like you represent these other things. And I feel like they did a good job of like setting up that dynamic. I'm using a lot of hands right now, but like they did a good job of setting up that dynamic between Ayo and her partner of like having her partner kind of be pushy about like the like being with Julia's Alma, right? Alma. Yeah, like being like, you shouldn't see Alma, like, being kind of, like, controlling and, like, kind of calling the shots, and they called it out in subtle ways in the writing of, like, aren't they pre-law? Like, they're not even a lawyer. Like, and they're representing you. Like, like, they're acting like you're a lawyer, and they're, like, not even a lawyer. Like, they're an undergrad, too. And I feel like they set that up really well. Of just, like, of course, like, we all know, we in the queer community all know that they, them. That is, like, I've taken philosophy 201 and I'm pre-law, and so I should tell you, my black girlfriend, exactly how to deal with sexual assault.
100%. And there is so much going on in this movie. Like there's so many things going on in this movie that like,
but I didn't
when we
feel
were talking
overwhelmed
at the falafel cart, y'all were talking about shit that I'm like, I just like completely fucking missed past that.
Yeah,
there's so much going on.
I never felt overwhelmed.
No, it's really well paced.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. It's really well paced and drawn out, and like I think it helps that they keep the cast really tight.
Yeah.
You know, we're really only dealing with, like, if we're including trans mask partner,
and Chloe,
like,
and Chloe was briefly in
Chloe
it.
Sevigny. So I'm talking like 6 real characters.
Yeah.
With a couple of, like, recurring kind of, like, side characters who are only in a couple of scenes.
Chloe was great, too, because it was this, like, well-meaning, like, therapist, counselor, professor who, like, was like, hey, you're my good friend and colleague, like, I'm gonna, like, break HIPAA for a second and clue you in on this thing.
Yeah.
Well-meaning, and then have it thrown in her face, and it's like, yeah, that was a low blow to be like, I don't trust you, because look at you, like, breaking confidentiality, but also, fair fucking point.
Fucking Morrissey song is playing.
That was so funny.
And, like, all the shit that about Morrissey, you know, and
I didn't even clock.
Yeah, that was also happening. I mean, like, just so many little things like that.
I feel like I will be able to rewatch this movie, which I often can't do with, like, movies that, like, if they're really powerful and I think they're, like, saying something really interesting and they're about sexual assault or something, usually I get, maybe it's because there was no, maybe much like Closer, actually I don't remember if there was, but, like, the way that Closer was really sexy, but it actually wasn't, like, a lot of sex scenes or anything like you expect.
There's very specifically, like, elements of Closer that revolve around, like, did these two people have sex, and we don't know because we didn't see it or not see it, really.
And so this is similarly structured in that, like, you are constantly, like, with these themes of sexual assault, but, like, very little, like, nobody's clothes are ever off at all. Everyone's pretty buttoned up.
Yeah.
She wears white almost the whole time, which really stressed me out.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'm like, that's a woman with money who can wear white clothes.
Yeah.
And just without a care in the world.
Yeah, especially
wear white
being-
clothes to an Indian restaurant.
Right, like, being back in New York right now, I just, like, wearing white in public, especially
Terrifying.
in a city. Oh, so I don't know, but makes sense with the way that they dealt with money was really cool. But yeah, back to the sexual assault theme, like, I'm really picky because for a long time it was just like something that, like, gratuitously, maybe I think the writer was a woman, actually.
It was.
Yeah, that makes so much sense because I was like, I'm used to this theme sort of being, like, thrown around haphazardly and making assumptions about, like, women's emotional process with it, and this was, like, so much more grounded in, like, how, like, Ayo's character deals with the panic attacks of it and everything. Like, that was very real and very, like, clockable of, like, okay, clearly something happened and, like, fucked you up. And then the way that, like, Julia shuts down because of it, and then it's revealed way later that, like, she had an experience like this, but it's, like, so, like, breadcrumbed throughout the entire movie from the opening scene at the dinner party. We, like, don't know what this thing that's found is. The, like, letter that's, like, taped that...
Yes, found so early in the movie and, like, comes up a couple of more times, and you're, like, you're not sure what it is. Ayo Edibiri finds a taped envelope in Julia and Michael Stuhlbarg's bathroom, and it has a bunch of old pictures and, like, a news article that's in German.
Crazy that Michael... What was his name?
Stuhlbarg?
Frank or something?
It's like... It wasn't like Ferdinand. It was something like that.
Something between Frank and Ferdinand,
Yeah.
for sure. Let me see. But anyway, I'm surprised he didn't find it. Oh, Frederick.
Frederick, of course, yeah.
Alma, Maggie, Hank, and Frederick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised Frederick didn't find it taped if Ayo found it so fast.
I
They need
guess,
toilet
well,
paper.
you'd think because they're the housekeepers, but I guess they didn't really find it, you know, so he's not probably doing a lot of replacing the toilet rolls, cleaning up the bathroom.
He's doing the cooking for funsies.
He's doing, yeah,
With
he
his-
has, like, a couple therapy appointments a day, otherwise he's fucking rocking out to classical music.
Yeah, and
on-
making his canopy cannoli casserole.
Yeah,
thing.
making what so many of us thought it was like a casserolette or something like that.
Yeah,
It was like
Casanova,
cassoulet.
Casablanca.
He's making a cassoulet, and we're
Yeah.
like, is that just like a fancy gay French way of saying casserole?
That was beautiful too. We thought he was gay. The
Yeah,
whole
I was
movie.
like, in the very early in the movie, I'm like, okay, lavender marriage, very interesting, but it's not.
It's very
He was
Stanley
just born a little
Tucci.
fruity.
It was very Stanley Tucci.
Extremely Stanley
yeah.
Tucci coded.
Which is interesting because when a character like that is presented, people always point to me and go, "That's you when you're older." And Emily was doing that the whole movie, and I'm like, sure, but also, you know that I'm attracted to women. So do you see why I think that women are confused when I'm attracted to them? Because you're
Yeah.
clocking this person as gay, and then I'm acting really fruity, and so now I'm confused. But that's inserting myself in what was a delicious, like, performance from Michael
Stuhlbarg, the great Stuhlbarg, a Luca Guadagnino regular.
So,
I love
and
Stuhlbarg.
for good reason. Like,
100%.
keep it coming, because his performances are always chef kiss. It was interesting because I think you and I might have experienced the same confusion of that envelope that's peppered in from the beginning. It looks like you can't tell if it's him when he's young.
I was like, is that him? At one point, I was like, is that like a picture of Andrew Garfield?
Right.
And yeah, because there's a picture. It ultimately, we're at the spoiler section, so we can talk about it. It is like Julia Roberts' father's friend, who she was assaulted by when she was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
They were, quote unquote, in a relationship, but she was a teenage girl and he was a grown man. And in one of the final scenes of the movie, like, she discusses that, like...
Which should have really been the end of the movie. And
yes, and we'll talk about that.
And probably was the end of the movie.
At a certain point.
Yeah.
Yes, that she, you know, made the first moves on him, and he tried to deny her a few times, but ultimately went along with it. She was like, I didn't give him any choice, and her husband, who's a therapist, is like, you always have a choice.
Yeah, when you're,
Especially when you are an adult and a
yeah.
teenager is coming, you always have a choice. And then that scene, and she's like, I loved him, and he says, I'm your husband, and I love you. And then there is a long, slow fade to black before there's another couple of brief scenes of the movie.
It's not even a fade
5 years later.
It's not even a fade to black. It's like, it looks almost like a still frame, but the music is still playing, and you can barely tell that it's in motion still. So it's not even a fade. It's just like this really long... It's very much the Call Me By Your Name, and he's crying into the fireplace, which she does earlier. She cries into the fireplace, burning what she thinks is all of the stuff.
The fire cleanses. It cleanses the past.
But she saves the photo, and and at one point...
And puts it in her crazy harbor apartment, her second apartment.
Yeah. And
it is like a work apartment?
Very confusing. That was confusing, her having her own burner apartment.
Yeah, that her husband knows about. She says, like, I'm going to work at the wharf.
Which makes... It makes sense that he just kind of gives her, like, this crazy long leash.
He's like, yeah, my wife is kind of a mean person who likes her space, you know, I'll let her... If we have the money, she can go have an apartment at the wharf or what have you.
Yeah, and if she's, you know, it felt very like if she's cheating, I'm kind of turning a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
Felt like their dynamic because he was giving so fruity.
He certainly thinks that she has slept with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, based on the thigh thing and the being like, and he's jealous.
Everything
and clearly they're in love with you.
And like all the little looks. I loved at the party scene that's early in the movie, the like little looks back and forth between Stuhlbarg and Julia Roberts, which is such a like couple thing of like we're communicating silently from like across the social circle,
which I liked. It made me like them as a couple.
Yeah, I like throwing my partner a little wink, you know, from across the room.
But I think there were like two reveals. I think one came before the other. One reveal was him like watching female porn, like falling asleep with like the female porn on.
Yeah, he fell asleep with porn on.
Yeah, but it was like silly porn. It was where the writing is good, where it was that like promo trip of like, see naked girls now. Naked girls now. And it was like on a loop. And so then we're like, oh, okay, he's like actually likes women like that. And then the photo, you cannot tell if it's him at a young age or not, and you just kind of, I guess, realize by the end that she keeps her type is kind of like replicating this guy that she was in love with, because it's the same look. It's like the same beard, the same cut, the same look, and like he had it, and then her husband has it, and he even he's like, is it the beard? Is that why you don't want to sleep with me?
Yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield. And also just fast forwarding to the end. Wow, I think him being in her apartment scene was
great.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was like
Closer for me.
It really was like, damn, Closer. I've been thinking about. I should rewatch Closer.
I think Closer with this is such a good pairing.
100%.
Yeah.
And two like movies that are ultimately like misunderstood and looked over in the Julia Roberts canon. I'm assuming about this movie that's coming out.
So I assume there's going to be like a whole pop punk album with like quotes from
that'd be sick.
After the Hunt.
Yeah, from After the Hunt. That'd be sick. And if no one else does it, we have to do it.
We really should.
We really have to do it.
He'll be like, this is such a really specific spin-off that only you two could put together.
Yeah, we really have to do like you know, we have to have a pop pub lyric that has like, can't you talk to me like a person? Do you not like me because I'm not in the philosophy department? You know, I unfortunately all the good lines for this movie are escaping me when attempting to do this.
Well, I can't ever direct quote
I'm really
from
bad
the
about
movie.
that on the first watch of something.
Totally, same. Yeah, oh my god. Like, Andrew Garfield has amazing scenes, such a complicated character, and also in many ways not complicated at all. Very much like a recognizable
100%.
rapist. Like, he's just like the rapist that I've met many times, of like super charming, like really has rationalized that part away, can like compartmentalize, like can be like righteously angry and like sensitive and like equate like things that mean care that don't mean care, and like like his relationship to like being in love with Julia Roberts and you just like really getting on board with it.
Yeah, which is interesting because like they must have a 20-year age difference.
Totally.
Which is, you
Like
don't usually
20 to
see it
30.
going in that
Yeah.
direction. Julia is younger than one might think because she's been famous her whole lives, but she got famous like really young.
At 20,
So
yeah.
I think she might be 60.
I think she's 57.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so she's actually, and Andrew Garfield, I assume, is like late 30s.
Yeah, but I think he's playing early 30s.
Yeah, so like there's like a 20-year age difference, and it's like not really mentioned or addressed in any way, which I thought was very interesting. And also, Julia and Andrew have like two of the craziest on-screen kisses I've ever seen. There's the weird one at the bar before the elevation when
crazy.
they're flipping the coasters.
That was great and
they
so
have a
good.
crazy like kiss, almost kiss, like deeply uncomfortable thing to witness. And then there's of course the one in the harbor apartment near the end of the movie. That is nuts.
Yeah, another cold harbor, if you will.
If you will.
Yeah, I thought I was curious. Every time I was like, oh, kind of interesting what they're doing there. It adds like another layer that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
Which is when he punches the wall, crazy moment.
Crazy
punches
moment.
the wall. She goes in to help his hand. It feels sort of like a maternal moment.
Yeah,
like
which
he
is
was like,
interesting. She's
seems-
a childless adult. She and her husband do not have kids, or they're not mentioned. In any
I
way.
didn't even notice that. Yeah, but he like is having sort of what seems like a tantrum over being accused of being a rapist that you can tell that he fully believes. Somehow he's like convinced himself that he's in the right about all of this while not coming across as a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
And
he has this crazy breakdown scene where he's in his underpants, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
and so he's sort of like snapped in this way that's like interesting, and then they start hooking up, like it snaps into this passion moment, so you like see how they would have like gotten together in the first place because their chemistry is so good, which again I think is a really helpful representation to see, like, I don't know, like if you can handle this content, which for so long I couldn't, but see a charming rapist whose chemistry you can understand how it got to that place, and then see the moment where no clothes are taken off or anything, but she says no like multiple times, and then she you see her realize like, oh, this definitely
This is how
happened.
it happens, yeah.
Because he's like fully in it, like he like locks into this like state that is like a flip switch, and like she experiences it in that moment. And yeah, that was it. And then he like waddles out with his like he like gives this like crazy performance of just like I don't know, like very not anti-hero, but just like, and then you're kind of laughing at him for like leaving in his like with his pants and his underpants, and his crash out at the Indian restaurant where he feels like he has control over everything. The way that it's shot, he's like talking like a dad, the way that, like, being a regular, she calls him out for it, that he's like acting like, oh, my regular, and then calls her by her name, and then he's like intentionally like putting food in his mouth constantly while like as a distraction to be like, and obviously this happened and this happened and this happened,
waving the food around. Great food acting by Andrew Garfield in that scene. And he's the other wild scene when he has like the very public crash out in front of the department, and he like goes loose on Julia Roberts, and then like tears all the shit off the wall and kicks the kid.
So good and
funny.
I
do think that is supposed to be funny. I think something that like people that are negatively reacting to this movie are maybe not seeing is that like it's a very darkly funny movie.
Kind of like in Waitress when like the domestic abuser has a really good song, and it's like funny, and you're like, and I hate most content where like you redeem that kind of person, but I think because of how this movie was framed, and it was like kind of it was commenting on commentary on discourse, it kind of gave you space to be like, oh, I can sort of like it's not so black and white, like I can find like this character charming, and then when the reveal is switched, then you're like, oh. And like I don't think I ever questioned Maggie. I don't think I ever questioned like Maggie's validity just
No.
based on how they filmed her breakdown, but they did a good job of adding enough doubt within each other that you're like, is there a piece that's missing? Like, this definitely happened, but is there something that she did?
And
they tried to add this, like, plagiarism, like, angle, which I felt was, like, a really interesting, like, I'm used to in having gone to grad school in New York, I'm used to sort of that weird slant of, like, this is clearly plagiarism because you lifted this theory and put it into the position of positionality of and then this, and turning it on its head. And I feel like they did a good job of being, like, weaponizing her just trying to kind of figure her thing out.
Yeah, and the doubt for me is not, like, did this happen? The doubt that the movie primarily stages is, like, what do you do about it? Should you...
I think it actually did add, like, trying to get the character to doubt even what happened from the jump. When she first comes to Julia Roberts, to Alma, with, like, this happened, the way that it's framed is, like, it very clearly happened, but then somehow, wait, maybe it didn't happen that way, and then the rest of it is being like, how can we make it so it's not this archetype against this archetype and being so stereotypical that it'll make Yale look bad proper and these other things.
And there's the scene after the Garfield big crash out where Alma goes to find Maggie outside by the tree, and Maggie is like, did this happen? Like, you know, is just, like, kind of, like, causing a lot of self-doubt, and something that happens in a lot of, like, cases where
100%.
like rape victims come forward, where it's like,
yeah,
sometimes they do feel guilty about what happens to the person.
Yeah, still that shit comes up in, like, little ways all the time of being like, did I miss this thing? Did I do this thing? And then someone has to bring in another angle and be like, oh, wait, this detail completely validates that this happened, and I just, like, blocked it out because I, like, made it me somehow. And I think they did a good job with that, but I think they also casted, like, they made Andrew Garfield so believable because he believed it, that, like, oh, this was, like, suddenly suddenly we're talking about, and I'm cornering her about, like, her plagiarizing it, and then suddenly this is happening.
Right, it's like, oh, you're gonna believe a plagiarist, you know? Yeah. And they come forward against your friend, your former lover.
And I think, like, in his mind, he's just, like, it was a helpful study, and, like, he has rationalized away that, like, and then he was drunk. And then, well, she plagiarized it, and she didn't tell you that? That's just as bad as, like, whatever this misunderstanding was where we're drunk, and I, like, did this thing. Like, it's, I don't know. It was, like, a very, they did a good job of me being like, is there something that they're going to reveal later that was missed? And also, I think when they were doing the reveal of, like, translating the little news clipping and, like, what the fuck it meant, like, it was still unclear because it was never, like, explicit. It was all, like, tiny text. Like, it wasn't clear, like...
But the headline was, like, sexual assault, you know, alleged sexual assault victim withdraws claim against, you know, assaulter. Which is interesting that, like, this is a case that is in the newspaper. I think there's a lot that we, like,
confusing.
Don't know
yeah.
about...
That's
that
why
also, like,
that's when I thought that it was her.
The article's in German, and the writing on the picture is in German, so did this happen in Germany? Who was her father? There's a lot about this that, like, I have questions about.
Like, I was confused about the German thing, and I also was like, Frederick is, like, a German name, and I thought that maybe, like, I thought what they were saying was that
Alma and Frederick are their names. Very German names.
Yeah, I thought that, Frederick, I thought that maybe because then at one point he was like, we met when we were 29. So then I was like, okay, so maybe, like, when Frederick was a professor, he, like, assaulted her, and then she ended up, like, falling in love with him and, like, justified it. That's where I thought it was going. Yeah. And then it took, like, then and even another term. And I was like, oh, it's a completely unrelated thing that traumatized her and made her internalize, like, well, it's my fault. Yeah. And so then you see how she, like, it takes it out on by just, like, shutting down and being cold and drinking a fuck ton and smoking, and her body's falling apart. I thought it was cancer the whole movie. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's ulcers. It's exploding ulcers, which I thought was interesting because, like, the first time, several times throughout the movie, Julia Roberts, like, doubles over in pain.
Yeah.
And the first time that happens is the night of the party, after the party, when she's, like, paying her housekeeper. And to me, that is, like, okay, that would be, like, the approximate time that the assault is taking place. And she, like, doubles over in pain, like, almost as if she is getting, like, a metaphysical, like, assault. Like, she is getting, like, a psychic, you know, like, the pain of the event is being visited upon her.
Interesting.
Here and then.
This is
in
when
a
it enters
non-literal sort of way.
Yeah,
I
but this
suppose.
is when it enters her body, and then it, like...
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of, like, when it starts.
The sin has entered the story.
Yeah.
And she herself is a victim of assault, and so, like, it is activated within her this very physical pain as opposed to the emotional pain and the spiritual pain.
That's cool.
That I think she pretends that she doesn't feel.
Yeah. I miss stuff like that all the time when that's, like, a device used in movies. So I like that idea of, like, yeah, that it was, like, that's when her body started kind of, her body's keeping the score. Yeah. That's when it starts, is like then, and then it's compounding and she's suppressing it. And when you suppress shit, it turns into ulcers. When you suppress crazy shit, that is how ulcers are formed. It's like truly stress-based. Mm-hmm. And so her like binge drinking and suppressing stuff starts to like pop into these little ulcers. And then it was interesting. I was kind of surprised by the sort of the gotcha moment of the painkiller scripts.
Yeah, when she forges the painkiller script in Chloe Sevigny's character's name.
Yeah, that was like quite a twist to be like, oh no, she was caught and her friend just didn't tell her and ghosted her and bad timing all around.
Tenure and it's wild.
But then becomes Dean, I guess, with the added scene.
Yes. So I mean, there's so many like weird pieces of information that are delivered in the last 1 minute of this movie. Yeah, Andrew Garfield became a successful author.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, Alma and Frederick are still together. Ayo Edibiri, I don't remember like her work circumstance or anything like that, but she is engaged to a 43-year-old woman
who's an art curator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alma became Dean, assumedly of the School of Philosophy at Yale, because she is in the dean's office at the end of the movie watching CNN clips of the California wildfires, so we know the ending of this movie is like 4 months ago.
Or just in this new reality where California wildfires happen all the time.
Sure, which could be.
So 2025
and then also, mentioned completely off screen is like a news report that like DEI initiatives are being removed at colleges, which is happening now. But yeah, it doesn't. She watches the California report, and we hear the report about the DEI initiatives, which feels like a very. I mean, it's an of the second kind of inclusion.
That's probably
because this
what
movie
it was.
Is so much like brings in all these elements of like Ayo Edibiri is a black woman in academia, but also is literally the child of billionaires. And the Andrew Garfield character is always going on, like, he didn't grow up with money, he worked his way through college, and all these things.
Yeah, so he's, like chip on his shoulder, righteously pissed when he's being, like, wrongfully accused.
All this hard work is being thrown out the window.
He felt like Julia was on his side in terms of, like, woke culture has gone way too far. And not even using woke culture language, but using, like, neoliberal philosophy academic language to excuse away... like, shit's just getting way too, like, too sensitive.
Yeah, it's basically a way of saying, like, kids are too sensitive these days. And there's so many different ways that, like, the various characters in academia manifest that. Chloe Sevigny mentions, like, these are all children of privilege who've been handed everything their whole lives. So the first bump in the road, is something they can't stop thinking about and focusing on. It is an injustice that must be undone.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good bit. And then at the party, something I remember from the trailer is like, your generation, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, like, my generation sweeping. It's like,
your
sweeping generalizations about
my generation.
Yeah. Which I remember from, like, the trailer clip or whatever. And then, I'm curious what you think. So it was such an excellent scene, but I couldn't figure out why he was so pissed at Maggie. Because the leaving the girls to talk during dinner while he throws this diva hissy fit, an incredible scene. I couldn't figure out like where the anger was coming from. I didn't care because I was enjoying it so much, but I couldn't figure out why he specifically was throwing a temper tantrum at Maggie for just fucking chilling.
It's so funny.
It's our favorite scene from Wet Hot American Summer, done in such a beautiful context.
Yes. Yeah, it's the Paul Rudd picking up his dishes scene in Wet Hot American Summer. But it's, Alma has invited Maggie over to her house for dinner. And you're not 100% sure of her motives, because at that point in the movie, she's saying, like, I believe you fully, I want to hear this out. But when they come over for dinner, like, she's not actually super helpful. And Michael Stuhlbarg, who has no idea of any of this stuff, has no idea about the salt, knows nothing, right? And is, like, getting iced out of dinner. To me, it's like, oh, this guy is like, I'm sick of all these fucking philosophy people. My wife is never home. We haven't had sex in months. I'm getting, like, talked over and around. I'm asking questions at dinner, and they're acting like I am, like, the dumbest man in the world asking the stupidest question.
Well, I feel
so
like
he starts blasting like French pop music and keeps going in and out of the swinging door of the kitchen, getting new things to make more noise.
But to me, it, like, read as like, it wasn't, that's probably what he was experiencing, but it completely read as him just like minimizing Maggie from the jump, being like, you're kind of stupid, and I've kind of heard about how you're stupid, and you can't even explain your thesis to me. Like, you can't even explain your dissertation to me.
He's asking her about her dissertation, and she's like, I'm doing it because it's trendy, because it's a popular form of philosophy now.
Yeah.
Which is a wild answer to that question.
Yeah. Yeah, but just, it was so, like, just seeing, her just try to be like, I'm dealing with this very real thing right now, and I'm not here to talk about my dissertation to you, and him being like, you're too stupid to explain your dissertation in my home? Well, I'm gonna throw a deep fit about it.
It's so funny. And it is, quite honestly, he is throwing the diva fit that, like, I wish I could throw.
Oh, absolutely.
I wish that I could just do that.
Yeah.
There's so many times in my life where I wish I could just do that.
Yeah.
He's very relatable to me, friend.
Oh, 100%.
He's my hero.
He's very bisexual.
Yeah, he's the new Stanley Tucci and Easy A.
Exactly.
As far as, like, guy I want to
exactly.
become.
Like, I thought, like, maybe Call Me By Your Name Dad was that, but he was a little too tender, a little too sweet, a little too, like...
He's a little too soft-spoken. That's never going to be me.
He's a dad. This was like, this is, when I say I want to grow up to be like sort of a Dumbledore professor before J.K. Rowling was canceled, this is actually what I meant, and it just hadn't been made yet, but this is kind of what I want to evolve into.
That's the template.
I can't wait for us to be that obnoxious and old and still be doing podcasts, and this be kind of our shit in our separate coasts, acting a fool like this.
Acting a damn fool.
Damn, it sucks how, like, Julia Roberts continues to be hot. And she continues...
That's fucked up, right?
But she continues to be in roles where she's, like, not having the sex that she deserves.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, remember Leave the World Behind? That was a wild movie. That was a crazy movie.
I don't remember sex with that.
No, she doesn't have sex with Ethan Hawke or Mahershala Ali in that movie, sadly.
Right, exactly. They have a little dance.
Kind of like, yeah, it's dance. Like, there's something there, but yeah.
They have a sexy little dance moment.
I think she needs to do more fucking.
Did I talk about non-binary Alex enough?
Is there ever an enough?
I don't remember how much I said before spoiler time.
Most of it was after spoiler time. We mentioned that they existed, and we really got it. We got into quite a bit of it. If you have more to say, of course,
I probably don't. I'm just really glad that this representation exists. Because,
such a specific form of
because tender queer... Oh, yes, I did talk about this at length. Because tender queers need to be stopped, and I definitely have been this character before, and it is important for us to see this so that we have a mirror, so that we can stop being this annoying.
Like? That's...
Just going, I relate to this. I don't like this because I am this. And I've been this, and I've dated this, and I've avoided this. I mean, the person who The person who I was seeing last year and kind of kickstarted my whole stand-up moment is because it was very much this kind of person of like, oh, your family is the Bushes, here's all of the expectations to have, and like my roommate is canceling you because you're not accountable to your family,
which is great. Like, what were you supposed to do?
So now it's in my stand-up set.
Of course,
like,
I can watch that clip.
Of I'm accountable because I was a bystander to 9/11 and I should have done more. Even I was 7 years old, but I own that, and that's valid. You all deserve to swarm me with your cameras going, you're accountable. And a swarm of Yale students, of they, them, Yaleys, swarming me with their little posters going, be accountable.
And it being like, they, them, Yaleys, like, people who can afford to go to Yale, whose families can afford for them to go to Yale.
Because some of them are, like, probably, I'm sure there's a few that are, like, Andrew Garfield's character, but I think they did a good job of setting up Maggie to be this, which is, like, you, in so many ways, are in this, like, underrepresented and marginalized group, and in other ways are from billionaires, like, not
literal
millionaires, but billionaires is, like, so specific to use right now, and that's, like, that's very interesting because she's clearly trying to like find her own way with the best resources she can.
Yeah.
And all this shit is being projected onto her. But then there is the reality of the billionaire parents and what people like respond to as being like, well, they donated all this stuff. That's not her fault. But she does have to like contend with that.
Yeah.
And she does have like some leverage of protection, which means like when articles come her way, she's asking. She's like, I don't want to, like, do this. Should I do this?
Yeah.
And instead of being like, don't do that, it's like, I don't know, do what you want. This is giving me ulcers.
Yeah. And, like, this might get picked up by the Times, and she's like, good for you and your Pulitzer, you know, like... It's very interesting, and there also, like, is the confrontational aspect, which, of course, has nothing to do with, like, the assault, but, like, she might be very mediocre. She might not be bright, you know, but has all the advantages.
She might be bright.
Of, like...
Yeah, she might be bright, and...
Not a revolutionary philosophical mind.
Not in this specific niche department of philosophy.
Right.
And so... Julia's cutting remarks, I think, are very pointed, where it's like, some of these could come with some truth, and some of these are like just a really toxic mindset that people continue to throw at Maggie's character of just being like, you're this and you're this and you're this and you're this and you're this, just because these are your circumstances and you're trying your best, but you're actually this, like, you plagiarize. And I know this about I want to look over that monologue again. It was crazy. I also think it was very funny when Maggie kept being like, Alex is they, like, they. And, like, the way that Julia says they, whatever, is, like, exactly right for that character, for 100%. That professor to, like, treat that. Because when I was in grads, I had a very similar experience in a creative writing class where one professor who had written a book was, like, up in arms about having to use they, them pronouns, and I am not, like, confrontational at all. And when anybody else was holding him accountable to it, he'd, like, fucking lost it, and I was able to get a full refund for the class.
Hell yeah.
But there's so many types like that where I'm like, you're making it more of a thing than we're making it. But Absolutely. I can also see the character like Alex, like, also turning it into this whole other thing. So everyone just, like, had a really, like, poignant point of view that I'm excited was put into representation. So if people don't like the movie, I can understand maybe not gelling with it, but it just hit so many things for me that I needed to see, and the pacing was great.
Yeah,
and
so much going on.
I really get lost in Act 3 so many times, and I don't think I had that issue at all. I was surprised by the snow ending, but other than that...
The last, couple minutes of the movie, that feels like reshoot city. It just really feels like...
Yeah, it just feels like they were, like, trying to, like, tie up some things.
And wanted it to not be, like... It would be a really down note to end the movie on, if they had ended in the hospital scene. Which is fair. Some movies have down note endings, you know?
But that's kind of the expected ending for his movies, and I'm just like, yeah, like, that's, like, the expected ending. Maybe he had a different idea, but it does kind of feel like when Trump got reelected, they had probably finished shooting.
That's very interesting.
And
Julia's hair is styled entirely differently, as is Ayo Edibiri's, which is probably to hide the difference that their hair would have been at, you know, if this was a reshoot.
I think, like, Trump got elected, and so around the California fires and then the DEI things getting cut, and the movie having so much to do with those things, that they're like, it would be amiss to
didn't talk about this
to not fast forward. I didn't notice that it was supposed to be 5 years in the past. I don't think it was. I just think, like, they decided...
Yeah, I guess this movie takes place in 2020.
Yeah. That actually would make no sense.
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense at all. But I suppose it's not our reality, but it is... Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's... Yeah, very interesting. It's so fitting that, like, the movie takes place in the halls of, like, a philosophy department, because it's all about, like, you know, these Heidi principles of what do you believe and how much we're, like... And it's something that I am guilty of as well, of, like, talking around the issue in a larger societal context as opposed to dealing with the present issue that is, like, directly in front of you.
Yeah.
And, like, philosophy is all about, you know, exploration of belief, but, like, what do you actually hold to when it's happening, when it's here? You know, like, you can say, like, all these things, but then you're like, well, now I'm in the middle of the situation. And, like, what do I do, and what do I do for self-preservation versus my principles? Everyone has been in some version of that situation, and not this situation in the movie, but, you know, a situation that, like, challenges your principles in the moment. And, like, it's very interesting to watch what people do and how they fold and what they fold on and how they don't fold.
I'm also, like, curious what, like, people of color will think about this movie.
Yeah.
Because part of it is, like, am I just enjoying kind of, like, all of these white people archetypes kind of, like, falling into each other in all these complicated ways? But, like, is it boring to watch if you're a person of color? Just watch all of these white people, like, being up to white people shit?
Maybe.
It might be. So there's also... I can also think of a way that, like, that could totally be true, and they could be like, I mean, they didn't really... Maggie was just sort of, like, a steady, you know, had these, like, moments and, like, amazing performance, but, like, she was kind of, like, the same beat of... Sometimes we were questioning, like, how things happened or what, but she was pretty steady through the whole thing. And it was the rest of the way that the white people were treating her. So I do wonder if it's, like, was it not enough about her perspective? I do feel like she was able to, like, parrot or, like, say a bunch of things that, like, I feel like she was able to call out some things. But I wonder about that. Like, that's something I'll be looking at as people start seeing this is, like...
Yeah.
We're two white people watching this, and so it's very entertaining, but is it entertaining to people of color? I don't really know where the criticisms came in. I'm just trying to, like, speculate, like...
For sure.
But it's a super discourse movie, and so is it, like, boring to watch discourse Yale white people movie, or is it, they're like... I don't know.
I don't know. And it's very interesting, like, the decision to frame the story around Alma, as opposed to... I guess the natural inclination would be to anchor it on Maggie, Ayo Edibiri's character. You know, like, it's interesting that, like, we are in the shoes of...
White lady.
Rich white lady, philosophy, tenure at Yale, who is, like, an outside observer to all of this.
Yeah, like, is this
and the way that she's getting brought, you know, her personal relationships are bringing that all in there. It's a very interesting frame.
How did you feel about Tar? It's a very different tone, but it's like a...
I have heard these movies brought up in relationship to each other. Yeah, The Big Picture, a podcast I listened to, brought that up. Extremely different movies.
Very different tones.
Very different tones, very different execution. Tar, a movie I loved. Had a great time with Tar. Saw it at the Angelica as well, I believe. That was maybe one of the first movies I saw at the Angelica. And so when the train was going under... And, like, there was, you know, like, a little train sound, like, happening directly underneath my feet at the Angelica, New York. I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice for Tar. Like, what is this, like, low rumbling noise that occurs periodically throughout the movie? Not realizing it is a literal train running underneath my feet. But, you know, extremely different movies. I think, like, on The Big Picture, they kind of dismissed this movie. to say, like, well, we already had Tar. And I'm like, this is such a different movie. There's such a different angle on these events. And, like, After the Hunt is all about that scandal. And Tar really isn't. Tar is about so many things.
After the Hunt?
After the Hunt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
After the Hunt is, like, all about the scandal. It is entirely locked in on, like, what is this event? And Tar was, like, a much broader, like, character study. It has a lot of weird, different avenues that it goes down.
But I do feel like...
And it, too, ends on a very funny final shot, just like After the Hunt does.
Yeah, I don't remember the ending of Tar, but I think I'll remember.
Oh, she's conducting a concert in Brazil of Monster Hunter music.
Oh my god, that was
music
so
from the Monster
good.
Hunter franchise.
Oh,
and this movie ends on Luca Guadagnino calling cut, which is not something that we've talked about yet. This movie has the crazy final reshoot scene, which is all like one shot. I think. I don't remember if there were any cuts in that at all. Maybe there's some hidden cuts. But it ends with, like, Julia puts down, like, is at an Indian restaurant, ordered one glass of wine, pays with a $20 bill. We hang on the 20 for, like, a minute, and then Luca Guadagnino calls cut.
It's so
and
random.
It's in the movie.
And I was like, are we looking at Andrew Jackson?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, are we implicating Andrew Jackson in this? Like, was he... Sexual assault is not the first scandal I think of in relation to Andrew Jackson.
I think of, he was Manifest Destiny.
And I was like, is there literally something on screen that I am not seeing?
Same.
I was like, is there like a final clue or something
there was a lot
of,
there was a lot of, like, little text. There was, like, an email where it was, like, very hard for me to read. And then there was, like, the tiny note from the pedophile boyfriend of the past, and there was lots of tiny notes that you had to be like, oh, am I missing a very important thing?
Yeah, there was that, like, headline in the Yale Review or whatever where he's like, the husband's like, have you seen this? And he holds up so much text, and I could not read it in the time that it was there.
No. Yeah, I can't really remember. And the tone of the... Yeah, it kind of felt like the tone of the reshoot ending was...
It was like, that different. Was crazy, right?
It was just it was just very different. Like, their relation... Like, Julia wasn't really saying a lot.
Yeah,
and
that Alma...
Maggie was sort of like... like, Alma wasn't really saying a lot, and then Maggie was sort of like just... It was sort of this, like... I came here to show you that I'm doing great, and here's my fiance, and I forgive you, and I couldn't tell if I wanted to be you or be with you, queer. And now we've wrapped this up, but it wasn't like a good ending. It was still very much like I needed to say that it was like it was obviously better than a reality TV moment, but does remind me of moments where you put two characters together and you go, hash it out for hash out your thing, where it doesn't feel like it was, like, organic. It felt like sort of like, I want to get the last word in. Yeah, and, like, there's just... And it wasn't the performances were off. It was, like, something about, like, the writing of how the ending was set up, that it just didn't feel...
It feels very strange. And, like, you know, there's all these, like, so many details about, like, what happened to the characters after that are just, like, all relayed in this one dialogue scene. And, like, you know, Alma eventually did, like, a confessional op-ed, but, you know, Maggie calls her out that it's like, well, it's very specifically written to get everything that you want, you wanted out of this.
Right.
And it seems to have worked. Like, she is, you know, dean of the Yale School of Philosophy now, still with her husband, if that's even something she still enjoys. You know, the way she refers to him when he is not around is derisive. You know, it doesn't seem to be a particularly happy marriage. But she's still in it.
Despite me loving them together.
Let me tell ya. We could all be so lucky as to be with fruity Michael Stuhlbarg. And
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, let me tell you. we've barely mentioned it, but, like, Julia's really excellent in this movie.
She's great.
She's in full, like, actor mode. This is not, like, a movie star performance. She is, like, really dialed into, like, the performance, and it's really stayed, and honestly, like, I was sometimes forgetting I was watching Julia Roberts. I was like, that's Alma.
Yeah, it was interesting because it's her... more of her archetype now of, like, cold, tired woman.
Yes, yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But she does have a smile moment where but it's coming from an unhinged place. Oh my god, the ruthless philosophy class. I don't know if you've been in a class like this, but I've definitely experienced many times of teachers crashing out at their students, it having nothing to do with the students, it tearing the students' soul apart. That has happened to me so many times, of, like, people being like, that had nothing to do with you, of a teacher just crashing the fuck out over you saying a small thing that isn't even really what you were saying, and the teacher just
lost it,
just loses it because they're having an existential crisis in front of you, a midlife existential crisis about their very career, directed at you because you made one comment about where a certain quotation came from.
Using othering, you know, and, like, what does othering mean? And a whole diatribe about that.
That's when she actually smiles, I think, for the first time. And so her performance was great. Unfortunately, it's still in the role of cold and doesn't really get to smile until the one moment that you get to smile and show it's a little unhinged.
Yeah.
And, like, her breakdown comes more from, like, subtlety, but so you don't get, like, a huge range, but it's a great performance.
Yeah,
like, there isn't really, like, a
really great. Everybody's really great. If I was putting the ballot together, I think a lot of these people would show up on my end of year ballot.
Yeah, I feel like the clip for nominated for Academy Award, which I do think she will get for this.
That'd be cool. I was wondering about that.
I think she will. I think she will. At least, I mean, I think definitely a Golden Globe, but I think she'll get a nomination for this. I think it would be the scene with her and Andrew in the harbor apartment.
That's interesting. Yeah, that'd be a good scene for it, probably.
Or
it could be the hospital scene, which is a very, intense scene.
I don't know if they would spoil it like that. It might also be when she snaps at Maggie before the, like, slap. The slap was cool.
Yeah.
The slap was cool and fun.
It was
and
cool
warranted.
and fun.
And warranted, and I'm glad there was no fallout from that. I'm glad there wasn't, like, another layer of, like, now she's a black girl having to deal with, like, law enforcement or something because she hit Julia.
My God.
Yeah, so I was a little worried it was going that way. I was glad that they didn't do that because that would have been too much.
Yes, it would have been one thing too many in this movie that I actually think balances its many things quite well.
I agree.
I think my estimation of the movie has gone up in our discussion. I might add half a star.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie. Would really encourage, if you have listened to it and let us spoil the whole thing and still have not seen it, I would encourage you checking it out for yourself. I think it's a very interesting piece of work that shot really well, really nice,
edited well,
100%. Good music.
The music is funny because it's your challengers, composers, but doing something very different.
Yeah, more back in their social network mode. Because they did the score for that movie as well.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They've Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross have done a lot of scores recently. They've really taken to that as a gig when they're not doing Nine Inch Nails. But they have an incredible range. Yeah, they can do challengers and this, which are so starkly different.
Totally.
Great script, good direction, great performances. I have essentially nothing bad to say about the movie.
I hope it wins best screenwriting, at least from the movies I've seen this year or know about this year.
Yeah, we're entering good movie season. We're going to start getting all those good ones rolling out. Sentimental Value, of course, One Battle After Another is released this week. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm really interested to look at and see. But this is a very impressive movie to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the early reviews of it weren't as positive as I felt.
Yeah, I don't know if it is as good as the best movie of the year, Bridget Jones 4.
I know you love that one.
It's so good.
I gotta check it out.
You gotta get around to it one of these days.
I almost didn't have... I think it's on Hulu. I almost didn't have Hulu when Jimmy
Kimmel...
Kimmel...
Pika!
when Jimmy Kimmel got, fired.
We
Just the way that TikTok
not had a chance to talk about it yet.
Well, we'll talk about it right here, right now.
Jimmy Kimmel was off the air and is back on.
And the same way
free
that
speech is saved.
the way that TikTok was banned and then brought back, so too Jimmy Kimmel taken from us and then giveth back. Like Jesus.
Truly like Jesus. Yeah, we haven't done a girls' garage since any of that happened, which feels like the proper avenue.
Yeah, I
really get it.
I recently mentioned, I believe, on Girls' Garage that I didn't like Jimmy Kimmel, and he was my least favorite.
And I wish he was taken off the air for any reason.
And then here we are, and I apologize for...
Here we are, and suddenly I have to want Jimmy Kimmel to be around.
Yeah, and I'm also, as Alex and After the Hunt would say, I want to take accountability. I want to be accountable. My trans mask co-part that I had a role in minimizing the impact of Jimmy Kimmel and what he can do for the society. And who knew that it would take Jimmy Kimmel to radicalize the moderates and neoliberals of the world. My mom was like,
First they came for Colbert and I said nothing. Then
Exactly.
they came for Jimmy Kimmel and I said nothing, for I am not Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, and even my mother and other parents I've heard about and whatnot are like, we're deleting Hulu. We're banning Disney, and it worked.
Fucking worked. Corporations only have beliefs in so much as it affects their bottom dollar. If the public perception to making money, graph that they have.
I was impressed it was that fast. That
if enough people fucking canceled their Disney Plus, they went like, nope.
That was fast. That was like a fast, like...
It was like 4 days.
To get so many parents, to get so many Gen X and Boomers to delete their subscription.
And like, assumedly many right-leaning, Gen X and Boomers, that it worked. Enough people canceled their fucking Disney Plus subscription that they listened. And that is effective boycott. Not like boycotting the entire economy for 24 hours. I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't think I did a good... Or maybe... I think I was actually so broke that day that I just didn't leave. Like, yeah, I think I
didn't buy anything anyway. No, but the 24 hours thing is stupid because like a boycott is ineffective. It has no specific want and has a definite end date. That's no form of boycott. That's doing nothing. Because assumedly, whatever you were going to buy that day, you bought the day before or the day after. Yeah. So it literally was not even a blip on their radar.
Yeah, but canceling a subscription and whatnot actually works if everyone does it at once.
If everyone does it. Hey, having principles, having beliefs can be a good thing. After the Hunt.
Yes. After the Hunt. Good job, everyone.
We're very on topic this episode. We're really dialed in on the movie.
Well, I think we're together.
That helps.
And I think we just watched it together.
That
and
helps
this is
too.
why connection...
But it was a very interesting movie with a lot of, topics to untangle.
This is why connection is important. This is why spending time and making time for the people you care about is important.
So true. So
that you can, get real dialed in. Yeah. It's hard to not get... unfocused when you're like literally right in front of me.
Yeah. And I'm not on computer.
Right.
Very easy to get distracted on computer.
Yeah.
But
once it starts being like and I can't like hear as well. And
and it's also just two of us instead of like there being a third person.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guests.
Very easy, if there's one of the people not talking, it's very easy to get distracted, get off topic,
And Emily, do you have anything to say?
Okay, this is my sidewalk take, subway take, post After the Hunt viewing dispatch, wherein I will read what I wrote in the bathroom line after the movie.
After the Hunt.
My bag home, which is the same bag that Julia Roberts has in the film, and I really liked that. I liked that I had that with me in the movie theater because Jessi Kat and I kind of joke that they're Julia Roberts, and they are definitely my show-stealing, show-stopping Julia Roberts' gay husband in this film. He was incredible. yeah, he was amazing. This movie was a masterclass in silly walks and men sitting funny, and not a masterclass in much else. And that's all I'll say on that. Future of jihadism is female. That was good. I liked that. I'm really hung up on this check please thing. I just don't know a world where you can walk into a dive bar, order a drink, and then say check please listlessly, staring off at no one in particular, and someone will bring you the bill. That's insane to me. I don't believe that's real. Chloe as an almost non-verbally underutilized problematic lesbian, I guess I liked that. I think the Shakespeare references, there were multiple Shakespeare references, and if anyone can tell me which Shakespeare play was referenced in Andrew Garfield's crazy yelling, kicking things speech that ends with coward, then that would be great, and I'm gonna need that to sleep at night. Yeah. The Julia Roberts gay husband stole the show. He's the best thing about this movie. And then the second best thing was Julia Roberts, who is America's last great actress. I think that's what I have to say. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this incredible exclusive Julia Roberts Run the Julias fan experience. This is my favorite podcast. All right, that's all from me. Emily Louch. Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Maybe
Thank
don't
you.
put this on the podcast, but this film put me in such a headspace that as I was listening back to my voice memo, I thought, am I going to get canceled for saying
For sure.
Julia Roberts' gay husband on a podcast?
I hope not, because we've said it 1,000 times.
We might easily
And
be canceled for this.
telling somehow. Ha ha, fellas, is it gay to love your wife? Am I right?
Oh.
Wow, thank you, Emily, who's sitting across the room from us.
Who's somehow both on the subway and sitting
And in the room.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the future of jihadism is female.
That was awesome.
Which was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
See, it's a funny movie.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
Small detail in the bar scene with Chloe Sevigny that I liked was when Julia's carrying her wine across the bar, she has the coaster on top of it.
Oh, I like that. I liked all the thigh grabbing.
Huge grabbing of thighs and knees movie.
So validating for me as someone who has over the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, been constantly confused by mixed signals of people who are getting to know me or friends grabbing my mid to upper thigh in conversation and wondering, like, are you flirting? And then telling people and being like, wasn't this flirting? And they're like, that's absolutely flirting. And then if I actually get to a place where I ask about it, it's not confirmed.
That's very strange.
Isn't
well, I
that
think
strange?
those people are psychopathic. That it's happened to you multiple times.
Yeah, I
an
do.
aberrance of God.
I just bring lots of psychopathic people into my space, and into
Apparently.
my bubble, into my energy. Less and less, but still. Yeah, there was a lot of little details in this movie that we'll give it. But yeah, it sounds like she didn't love it. But we were having a good time watching it. There were a lot of little like gestures. I laughed openly
Quite
lots
a
of
few
times.
It was not, our theater was not.
They weren't laughing. I thought it was very funny.
There were some other people around us who were laughing as well. So we were having a great time.
Yeah.
And I think we were laughing at the appropriate moments. It's not like we were laughing at, like, discussions of assault or whatever.
No.
We were laughing when there was, like, when Chloe Sevigny is like, oh, the Smiths, I fucking love the Smiths.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's
Yeah,
funny.
I feel like she said something. I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Oh, I love this fucking another one. You know, it's so funny.
She's great.
Yeah, when Sevigny's in like the first scene, but then like barely shows up for most of the rest of the movie, I'm like, well, when?
Yeah, because I was also like, is she Alex? Is she the partner? Like, I was getting confused, but it did eventually.
She shows up for her scenes later on. Chloe Sevigny, I don't know if you saw Bones and All. She has like a non-verbal performance in Bones and All.
See Bones and All. Forgot about it.
Very.
Also a Luca.
Also a Luca, which is that's.
I don't know how you could like Bones and All more than this.
I don't.
Yeah.
Bones and All is... I've seen 5 Lucas at this point. That is my least favorite. I was not particularly taken with Bones and All.
Absolutely. So was his most recent Queer?
Queer, yeah. He did Queer and Challengers last year. My man loves working. He loves making movies.
Me too. Do we work at the same volume and same amount? No. But we both...
The passion is there.
Yeah, we both love making movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. It's 12:41 a.m. I'm fading a little bit. Is there any other thoughts that we want to get out there? I think we covered it.
Yeah, we covered a lot. And I'm sure as I listen back, I'll think of more things. But I'm one of your Run the Julia's co-hosts, Jessi Kat Scott, and you can find me now doing stand-up, usually at the Vault open mics. I recently had a Nepo Baby show, which you can watch clips of both on TikTok and my Instagram, which is at gay4PowerPoint, gay number 4 PowerPoint. I'm in a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, which might already be over by the time this podcast drops, and tickets sold out a month in advance anyway. But I think our dress rehearsal...
Cool brag.
Yeah, but cool brag, and I think our dress rehearsal might still be open, and they were able to get everybody on from the wait list. But that'll be... fuck, where is it? It's, whatever. You'll find it, Midsummer Night's Dream, through Red Ink Ensemble. And then I'll be back doing improv soon. So improv, stand-up. I'm on Dropout TV as a featured background on an episode coming out soon in this first season of Crowd Control. I am in the crowd. I'm wearing a red shirt.
And you're out of control.
I've been told I'm heavily featured.
I love that. Can't wait. That'll be delightful for me.
Yeah, so it's been a big summer for me going into autumn. And still an incel, so hit the DMs.
Absolutely. We love to fuck our fans.
We will. We didn't fuck Emily, but Emily did get to join us on a fan experience.
That's true.
And you can request to hook up, and like Ty and I said on the other podcast, we can be bought.
Yeah, exactly.
About a month's rent will do it.
Yeah.
And cost of living. That's a good number.
Be huge.
Yeah.
Be huge. So look forward to the sex work tier on Patreon.
Right, exactly. There's a sex work tier on Patreon now.
Coming up. I'm working on it right now.
And you can cancel me for it, but I'm being earnest, so.
Absolutely. As well you should. The importance of being earnest. I am, of course, your other host, TV's Kevin Lanigan. TV's Kevin Lanigan everywhere, including Letterboxd and Instagram and Blue Sky and all those places.
Blue Sky.
I wrote a damn book. I am working on the full-length audiobook of it now.
You and Hank.
Me and Hank. I'm just like him in so many ways. And
that's what I was thinking, the whole movie.
Who
does this remind me of?
Does this guy behave exactly like?
Like that who's sitting right next to me. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But be on the lookout for more news about that. Almost certainly going to be some kind of crowdfunding to get that out into the world in the future. But also, if you're a publisher, hey, my DMs are open for either fucking or business. And Kelly, that's not true. I'm joking.
Kelly doesn't listen to the pod.
Yeah, it's true. She'll never hear that. And her friends certainly don't listen either. So I'm clear. I'm good. I can say whatever I want. And
but if you're listening to this in the future, that didn't happen.
It's untrue. Enjoy Girls Garage and enjoy the new venture Hogs to Slop, which is sliding into the space where Movies for Babies once was. It's me and it's Justin and it's Ty, and we are exploring giving media a fair shake. Media that it's easy to dismiss because of what it is, and we're there to give it a fair shake. Our first episode on the American masterpiece Con Air is out now. And we got lots of good stuff in the future. So that is what we are working on. And of course, patreon.com/tvskevin, which I frequently forget to plug directly, but for as little as $1 a month, you can get episodes early, you can get exclusive archives of old podcasts, you can stay up to date on everything that I am doing, and get previews and early access to everything that I do. Excuse me. And that is all over at patreon.com/tvskevin.
And I'm on Substack for gay.
Yeah, great plug.
Gay for PowerPoint, similar to Patreon, similar content. Everything's free right now, though.
Yeah.
Of my own stuff, gay number 4 PowerPoint on
Absolutely.
Substack.
Enjoying the fiction that is coming directly to my inbox. Mm-hmm. So everyone go check that out. Oh yeah, and the syndicated movie trivia thing, if that isn't happening.
Yeah, go
already,
do that. Go to that.
Go to
if
that.
You do anything,
it's
go
fun.
to that.
Kent M. Wilhelm hosts a great trivia. I'm sure he'll be a guest on this show at some point if he desires to do that. And we'll be back, sometime soon. Conspiracy theory or something. I got some good offers for some guests yesterday, so we're gonna start working on some of those, and it'll be fun. And,
hell yeah!
Enjoy the approximately monthly schedule that this show will continue to be uploaded on. And until next we see you. Don't get like a weird little affairs apartment by the wharf.
Oh, I kind of wanted it.
It did seem chill.
Yeah, but
Does that place have like a shower?
That's a good question. We didn't see
like a bathroom. Is what I wasn't seeing. Is there like a communal situation in the hall?
I don't know.
But there was a full bed and alarm clock in there.
That was surprising.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I would say don't steal your doctor friend's scripts because you might lose tenure.
Yeah, you might lose to a tenor, and that's embarrassing.
You might lose to a tenor. You might lose your tenure.
Yeah.
So don't steal scripts from your.
How would you describe
friends.
Andrew Garfield? He might be a baritone.
Oh no, he was a tenor, in Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah. He was hitting.
He's totally a tenor.
Right.
Yeah.
So you might lose to a tenor.
It's 90-30 and go watch Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah, it's good. It's probably still on Netflix, right?
Probably.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
And Manuel Miranda, it's so easy to make fun of him. In a lot of ways, he deserves it. He's just a really talented guy.
Yeah.
He's just like really good at what he does.
Yeah. What did he do in that?
Directed it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Directed the movie?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut.
Lies, you're telling me that you'll be true. Lies, that's all I ever hear from you. Tears, I shed a million tears for you. Tears, and now you're loving someone new. Someday I'm gonna be happy, but I don't know when just now. Lies, you're breaking my heart.
Tastes like you, but sweeter.
Please tell your friends about this show.
That was quite a show. Very entertaining. I want to live!
This has been a Talkback Podcast.